So the speaker for our today group is Akib. Akib, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks Abhishek for this opportunity. So my name is Akib Javed. I'm currently working as a senior associate in Cognizant, and I am Mule certified developer and architect. I'm also a co-host of a Lucknow group with Abhishek. So thanks Abhishek for this opportunity to present this topic.
Thank you, Akib. Thank you
Hope
so
this will be
much.
learning.
Yeah, thank you so much for accepting my invite and coming over for speaking for our group today. Thank you so much. So I would like to state the safe harbor statement. So both the speaker and host are organizing this meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose only. Organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirement. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. Some housekeeping. So the recording of this meetup will be shared in the page in the meetup page within 24 hours. Uh, so you feel free to ask any questions in the chat whenever you want. You can put a question in the chat and we'll try to answer that. Let us make it more interactive. You can ask whatever question you want, and the most important part, the feedback. So once the event is over, you will get a mail for the feedback. So please fill the form for feedback and let us know what you think about the meetup, or what are the next topic you want. You can suggest over there, because this help us, like both the organizer and speaker, to improve, and we can recognize like what people want more. So please take few time to give the feedback as well. So we'll start with the agenda. So I'll give the access to Yaqub. You can take the access, you can present your screen, and you can start with the agenda today. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So let me share my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so our today's agenda is to go through this cryptography module. So we will see how to install, what is cryptography, how to install it, what are the different extensions in the cryptography module. There are majorly three types: PGP, JC, and XML, and we will see how to use each of these connectors from this cryptography module. Okay, so crypto, first we will, just start a quick basic. What is cryptography? So cryptography, it is a very old age technique, not new to Mule or any language. So it is not relevant to any specific language. It is used globally across the world. Even today in all the militaries warfare, all the soldiers which communicate between themselves, you know not the software level cryptography, but cryptography means to jumble up the information. So if the third party is getting the messages, it is not able to decipher it. So same way in software world also, in data security life cycle, cryptography plays a important role, right? So as we all know, data is like gold for today. Whatever data that you have, you must secure, because we every day we deal with all kind of sensitive data, right? Credit card informations or some medical informations of employees or people start the project we are dealing with. So cryptography plays an important role whenever we transfer the payload from one requester to another, or some third party sources, when we retrieve the data or try to push data into the third party. So we have to use some kind of mechanism, right? So if the outsider or the third party tries to interfere our channel and get hold of the payload that we are transferring from point A to point B. So in that case also, if he is able to get hold of the data, he will not be able to read the data or make the data useful to him. So cryptography, helps you to make your data encoded, hashed, okay, based on the modules that we will be using. So there are different types of encryption, symmetric or asymmetric encryption we will see. So the module supports three different strategies, as I said: PGP, which is pretty good privacy; JCE, this is Java-based cryptographic extension; and XML cryptography, which is only used for the XML documents. Okay, so let me quickly. I have the diagram that I will draw, so it will be more easy to understand. So let me create a new. Okay. Okay. So as I said, so we have crypto module. So under that we have three. So we have PGP and XML and JCE. Okay, so PGP is pretty good privacy. Full form is pretty good privacy. XML is for XML based encryption, for encrypting the XML files only, and JCE is Java based. This is Java based cryptography in extension, and this is pretty good privacy. So, and this PGP encryption decryption is used across all the different languages also. In SAP or in Java also we use this PGP jar to encrypt or decrypt. So this is not limited to MuleSoft only. All these cryptography which we are seeing, these are all globally used across all languages. Okay, so we will see how to use it in our Mule layer. Okay, so XML is for only for XML files. Okay, so let us go quickly one by one. So we will first see PGP, pretty good privacy. So for PGP we need you know we have to get a key pair. So that key pair we need. Okay, so this key pair can be either provided by the vendor. Okay, so to whom which you are contracting. uh, okay, the third party. So he will provide you the key pair, and you have to generate the public and the private keys. So and that key pair should be CA verified. Okay, and next option is to self generate. Okay, self generate the key pair. So to self generate we need some tools. So there are two type of tools. So one is command based and another one is UI based. So for command based, we have Git Bash. We can use Git Bash or another command based tool. And for UI based, we have Cleopatra. Okay. So we will see Cleopatra today. We will use Cleopatra because it is very easy to generate the keys using the UI based tool. So for UI based tool, we will use Cleopatra. So we will see how to download it and how to use it. Okay. And when we download Cleopatra, we will generate one key pair. Okay, so we will generate one key pair, and from that key pair we will extract the public key and the private key, and then public key will be used for encrypting the payload, and private key will be used for decryption. Okay, and there are other component also like fingerprint, passphrase. So we will see all those in the Cleopatra tool. Okay, so let us go to this is the, if you see, but to download it, what you have to do, you just go and search for download Cleopatra. Okay, so the first link, GPG for win. So if you click on this, so the first jar file which you see, you have to download this, and when you install this GPG for win, you will see this kind of application installed. This is the Cleopatra tool, and when you open this, you will have this kind of interface. Okay, so let us generate one PGP key pair. So we will click on File, New Key Pair. So you can have two options. So for this demo, we'll only generate it. So you can send it for certification authority to for the certification also. So we will create one personal. So we'll give the name. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, in advanced settings you can change what bits you want to generate generate more secure keys. So to further it, but you can change it as per your requirement, right? And you can extend the validity also. Yeah, so currently it is valid for 2 years, right? So you can increase or decrease the validity from here also. Okay, all the keys that you are generating. Okay, so we'll go to next. We will see the details. Okay, so it is valid till 2024. So we'll create. Okay, so it will asking for the passphrase. So we'll give us mule1234, mule1234. Okay, so we have to copy this fingerprint which we will be using. So in the PGP connector. This is required. So we will copy this fingerprint and we'll store it in a notepad. This is the fingerprint which is common for this key pair. So when we extract the private key and the public key, these fingerprint will be common to ensure that both the keys are related. Okay, so we will finish it. So this is the key pair we have generated. So now we will this is a key pair, right? So it includes the private key as well as the public key. Okay, so we have to export our private key and export our secret key. Secret key means the private key. Okay, because when we encrypt it we will be requiring the public key, and when we decrypt it we will be requiring the private key, and both the private key and the public key are related with the common fingerprint. If you click on this key and see the details, you see the fingerprint again you have to copy. If you need, if you missed in the first step, then you can copy the fingerprint again from here. Okay, okay, so first we will generate the uh, public key. So we'll just click on export. Okay, so in the documents folder we will create one new folder. So we will name as PGP keys. Okay, so we are generating the public key. So public key, and we'll say 21 May. Okay, and there are three options, right? .asc, .gpg and .pgp. So .asc format is in sky format. So if you want to share your public key across other users, or you want to test it over the internet to determine whether it is secure or not, then you can use the ASC format. So let us generate both the format. So I will generate the ASC format first. So let us see, go to documents, PGP keys. So here it is generated as a text file. So if you right click it and uh, open with notepad. Yeah, if you see, this is the begin public key and this is the key. If this is an sky format, is that's why we are able to read the content also. Okay, so now we will go to Cleopatra again, but this is not used in our project. Dot .asc format is not used. So this is only for your reference. and if you want to use it over online, or use it, you have to send to someone, then you have to generate it as in .asc format. But to use it in our project, what we have to do, we have to generate the .gpg format. So we will say public key 21 May, and then we will .gpg, save it. Okay, go to the folder, refresh. This is the binary file which we will be using in our connector. So if you right click it and open with notepad, so you will not be able to understand anything because this is not in ASC format. Okay, and this is we generated in ASC format. So we will see how to use it online also. If you want to use verify the key, the encryption is and decryption is working fine or not, there is a link you can use to verify. So let us close this, and we have to generate the private key also, right? We will go to Cleopatra and right click, and now we will export secret keys. So output will be in the same folder. We will say private key 21 May, and then again we will send both the format .asc format and .gpg format. So this is our, and again we will generate the gpg format. Okay, the passphrase what we have given, Mule 1234. Okay, and then again private key .gpg. So .asc format is not mandatory. So if you do not need to verify it over online, or do not have to share it across with other users, so you do not generate the .asc format. Only .gpg format is needed in your connectors. Okay, I have named it GPG only. So I will name it as ASC. Okay. Okay. So refresh. Private key binary. Okay. The text file is not coming. Let me generate again.
I think the private key, it generates only one with one name in the same folder, because the earlier one you tried with, it was AC, but I think it has overridden. It's not allowing multiple private key in
No.
the same folder.
No, no. But the format is different, right? So should do. .asc. Okay. Okay. We have to select this as Sky Armor. Mule 1234. Okay, so now we'll have 4. We have to select that checkbox as Sky Armor. Okay, so this text file is not needed in your project. So we only need this private key and this public key. Okay, so let us quickly use it. So to use it, we have to go to Exchange, and this is not available in your core modules or add module. So we have to go to Exchange and then download it. So we'll go to Exchange and down search for crypto. So you will see this. You have to add this. So currently I've already added. So I will cancel it. So in that you have multiple options. Okay, so we have a JC, PGP, and XML. Okay, so let us quickly. I will add one listener. So it's configured. So I will say it PGP. Okay, and then we will from the crypto module we will add the PGP. First we will encrypt it and then we'll decrypt it. And we have to also copy paste the binary file which we have generated, private and public. So we will copy this, go to src main resource and paste it. Okay, and now we will configure quickly the encrypt module. So we have to, since we are encrypting it, so we only need the public keyring. So we will just search for, okay, it is going to search outside. Since we have pasted it in src main resource, we will name it public key 21 may dot gbg. Okay, and then we have to configure this key id. So key id is uniquely for your each encryption decryption. So we'll name as demo pgp, and fingerprint which we have copied, here, and rest it is not needed. Okay, we only need the key id and the fingerprint. While decrypting it we have to pass the passphrase also. Okay, so we will save this. And this key id is also needed to identify. So we demo pgp. Okay, so we are done with our module configuration. So we needed only three things in the pgp configuration. Okay, so the public key and the fingerprint and the key id which we will be unique across the encryption decryption. Okay, so this is done, and let's add one logger. To print the payload. Okay, now just we will quickly run it. So it is deploying. So let us how to use this if you want to check online whether the encryption decryption is happening properly. So we have online GP this one, this link, org. Okay, so here we will pass, let's say, hello world, and then the ASCII format that we generated, right? So we will go to our public key. So we will open this. Open with Notepad. On this key block we will copy and okay, so this is your encrypted message. So hello world after encryption, after PGP encryption. Okay, so same should be done when you done it with your Mule app. So let us see whether it is deployed or not. Okay, it is deployed. So what is the listener? Okay, so we'll go to Postman and then type /PGP, the body, say hello world and send it. Okay, so see this is encrypted, this hello world as a payload. So it has encrypted HQEMA, whatever you are seeing, and whatever it is online. So our Mule app is working fine as per the PGP encryption. Okay, so again we have to use the decryption. So while decrypting it, okay, so while decrypting we have to use the PGP decrypt. Okay, and if you see the module configuration, we have to add one. So now right now while encrypting we have passed the public key, while decrypting we have to pass the private key. So the private key name is private key 21 May dot gpg. Okay, so same thing we have to configure. So demo PGP, the key ID, fingerprint we have already copied. So fingerprint will be same for the key pair. So whether you are generating private key or public key, fingerprint will be common to create the link. Okay, and we need the passphrase mule 1234. So while encrypting it, you do not require the passphrase. While decrypting it, you require this passphrase. Okay, so this is done. Okay, and we will call this using a flow reference. So instead of the logger, we'll, because when you work on a real-time project, right, will be encrypting this in one API, let's say in one process API, and you are decrypting this in another process API. So channeling across the requester component. But now in this demo, we will just use this as a flow reference, okay, to call this decrypt. And when you work on a project, then only when if that API is decrypting it, so that API will only have the password to decrypt it, right? Because your vendor will give you the key pair, and you should have the password to decrypt it when you are decrypting it. So while encrypting it, you do not need require the password, but when you decrypt it, you need that password to decrypt. So it means you are the authentic person to decrypt that payload. Okay, so we have configured the PGP decrypt. We will just add the flow reference from favorites. We will add the flow reference and we will call this. Okay, and then we will add one logger also. Just check. Okay, so encryption and decryption in the same flow, but it is not the use case. If you work on a project, this will be in one separate API, and this will be again in the separate API. Okay, let me stop it because my hot deployment, I don't know, doesn't work. There is some error. Clear the target folder. Okay, so now let us see the same this URL which we are using. So currently we have encoded this message, Control A, and then this is our hello world in encrypted format, and then we will use it to decrypt it. So we will decrypt the message. So the PGP message we will paste. This is our hello world, and then we have to paste the private key. So private key we also generated in ASCII format for this. So we will open the text file. Open with Notepad++. This is our private key. So we'll copy this and then Control A, Control V. And the passphrase which we have used, Mule1234. And we will decrypt it. Okay, we have to copy paste the content only. Passphrase is correct. Mule1234. See, this was our original hello world, and it is saying no one has tampered the message in between. So integrity check is also passed. This is our hello world, and this is our private key in ASCII format, and we have passed the passphrase and decrypted it. Now let us do the same thing using our Mule app. So let us check whether it is deployed. It is deployed. So we will go to our Postman and send again. So we have passed hello world and it is decrypted it hello world again. So if you check the console, this is at the end, this logger printed from the decrypted one. And this was the PGP message that we have logged, and this is the decrypted one. So quite easy. So either you can use Cleopatra for generating the key pair, or your vendor will give you the key pair, then you will use Cleopatra to extract the public key and the private key. Okay. And if you are not using Cleopatra, then you have to use git bash or other command prompt available for generating this key pair. So while encrypting it, you need the public key fingerprint, and while decrypting it, you need private key fingerprint and the passphrase. So I think it is clear. Any question, Abhishek, before we move it to the next?
Yeah, we have one question from Rajesh. He's asking, is it
Mhm.
similar to secure config?
Secure config is used for encrypting your YAML files, right? This is used for encrypting the payload that you are transferring over the request, right? Let's say from some data you are getting the credit card informations, okay, and then you have to store it in some third party or AWS storages, right? Some SQL or Oracle which is located outside your on-prem, or it is deployed somewhere on-prem, and you are deployed your PAPIs, or the PAPI which you are getting the data, it is in Cloud Hub. So while transferring the data between these on-prem and Cloud Hub, so you need an additional layer of security, right? So secure config is for YAML, for the user ID and password that you use for connecting to those databases. But this PGP connector, whatever cryptography module we are seeing, this is for encrypting the payload, the data that you are transferring over the internet. So this is for encrypting the data with help of cryptography module. Secure config is for the YAML, for securing your YAML. Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So let us now move to our second part, which is JCE. Okay. So this was our PGP, pretty good privacy. So JC is Java based cryptography, as I said, right? So it is of two types. So we have password based encryption and key based encryption. Okay. So password based encryption is very simple. You do not need any keys or a private key, public key, like kind of thing. You only need the passphrase, and you need the algorithm which you want to use while encrypting it. So two things, only passphrase and the algorithm. Okay. And key based, we have two types again in this. We have asymmetric and symmetric. So we will be demoing the symmetric one. So in asymmetric, you will have public key and private key different public key and different private key. And in asymmetric, we will use the same key for encryption and decryption. So when you use asymmetric, you have to generate two keys, one for the public for encryption and one for decryption. And when you use symmetric key cryptography, then you will use the single key, okay, across. So we will demo this single key only, okay. And right, so we'll see the password based encryption and the key based encryption in JC. So JC, as I said, it is Java based cryptography. So and the key which we will be generating, we will using Keytool, which is already installed when you install Java. So it is already pre-installed in your system. So you do not need to use any other third-party tools to generate. And these key tools are generated are of three types: JKS, JCKES, and PVKS. So based on your requirement, you can choose any of the three type of different keys. So we will be using JCKES or JKS, anything. We have to use the command which I will show you. I have saved it already in a notepad. So that command we will be used in Keytool to generate the key. Okay, so first we will cover the password based, and then we will quickly go to key based. So password based is very easy. No key, nothing is required. So let us add one listener, and we'll name it as password based encryption. Okay, and from the crypto module we will be using encrypt PB, password based encryption. Okay, and so see, no configuration like this because it is very simple. So only thing which we need is let me enlarge it. Yeah, so the algorithm which you want to choose. There are different HMAC algorithm, message digest algorithm, secured hash algorithms. So we will use the HMAC secured hash, which is the default one. So we can change it as per our requirement. So the password, right? So you can choose any password here. So I have choose Mule 1234. So while decrypting it, you have to use the same algorithm and the password. Okay. So this is the simple one. Nothing we have to do. Nothing. Very quick setup. So we'll just add one logger. Uh, and we will print the payload. Okay, and let us quickly deploy this.
Okay, meanwhile, we have a question from Vaishnav itself. She's asking, how can we
Uh,
secure our password here?
So you can, yeah, you can use secure config, right? So the password that I'm hard coding it, you can use it in your YAML and secure it using the secure prop.
In the properties file, you can put an
So for this demo, I'm
encrypt.
just yes, 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 yes. For this demo, I'm not using the YAML and just hard coding it, right? But when you use in your project, you normally we have to use the YAML and we have to use the secure properties.
Yeah, one more way is like we just put the configuration and we can directly take it from our CSAD script if you are doing like how we do for our
Yes, yes,
other
yeah, yeah.
passwords.
If you're using some vault,
Yeah, some
that
words.
is also possible. If you are using some vaults, then you can get that vaults value from here also. Okay, so if PB and let us send it. So now if you see, this is the output after encrypting it using the password based encryption. Okay, so this is your hello world. If someone gets it in between the data, he will not be able to decipher it unless he has the password to decrypt it, right? So let us decrypt it. So decryption is also very easy. Okay, so we'll just go to crypto and go to JCE decrypt PB. So after the encryption, we will have to same payload and the same password, same algorithm and same password. So Mule 1234, and then we will add one logger to print the. Okay, so encryption and decryption has same configuration. Okay, so hot deployment in my studio is not working. Okay, so let it deploy. So in the meantime, as we have seen, right? So this is, we have covered password-based encryption where we need the passphrase and the algorithm to encrypt and decrypt. So we'll move to key-based encryption. So where we need the we will be doing symmetric key configuration. So we will have to generate one key, and for this key, as I said, we will be using the key tool, and we will be generating the JCKeys file. Okay, so to generate it, where we have to go to where we have installed our Java, right? So we will go to C and program file 86, no, program files. So here we will go to Java, JDK, and bin. So you will see Keytool is already there. And this is our Keytool, right? So we will type cmd. Okay, and we have to write this. Yeah, so we will asking Keytool to generate a secure key. Okay, and this is the alias and the algorithm to use AES, and this is the name of the key store, demo.jc.jckeys, and the store type is jckeys. As I said, there are three different type of store types, so depending on your requirement you can change it, the key size and the key algorithm. Okay, so for this demo we will be just going with the default one. So this store type can be changed, key size can be changed, and the algorithm can be changed. So this is the name of the key store, and this is the command hyphen gen sec key. Okay, and alias you can give anything. So we will go to cmd, paste it, and it will ask for the passphrase. So we'll say mule 1234. It will ask to repeat it 1234. And if you want to have separate key password, so we will say keep it as it is. So it will be same for both the key password and the key store password. So it has generated one JCKS file in the same structure. Right? You can parse the folder structure also in the command. But if you go to the folder location, you will see this same demo.jc.jckeys. So we'll cut it. cut it from here and go to our project and paste it in the src main resources. Okay, it is deployed now. So let us check the decryption of the password based. So send it. So if you see hello world and hello world, and if we check the console, this was the encrypted one. After hello world is encrypted, it is not able to show the special characters. And after decryption, this is our last logger, which is in the decryption. Okay, here is that. This is encryption, and here is the decryption. Password base is very easy. If you want to encrypt your payload without tension of handling the keys, and so this is very easy. You can just quickly configure this in your project and encrypt the payload or the parts of payload. Okay, so let us configure the key base. We have generated the key, and now we will be using the key based. So we will add one listener and rename it as key based encryption. Okay, and from the crypto module we have to use now normal, not the PB, so JC encrypt. So encrypt a stream using JC with a key. So we have already generated the key. So we will paste it. So we have pasted it in the SRC main resource. Now we will configure this key based. Okay. So here you see there are three different types of key stores, right? JKS, PKCS, and JCEKS. So we have generated JCEKS. So we will use this one. Key store, our name is demo jce dot jceks. Okay, and password we have given mule 1234. After this, we have to configure which symmetry we are to use, whether you have to use symmetric or asymmetric. So we are using asymmetric key info. So key ID will say demo GCE, and alias is, I think we have passed alias as demo GCE only. Demo GCE and password mule1234. Right, because we have used the same password for the key password and the password, so that's why same password we have passed, mule1234, mule1234. Okay. Okay, and we have to select the algorithm. We will say AES and key ID again demo JC. So encryption is done, so we'll add one logger. Hmm. Okay, and now we will. Okay, so the command we can quickly go through again. So this is asking Keytool to generate the secure key, and we have to pass all this parameter, which is the alias is demo JC. We can give anything. Key algorithm you can change because we are using AES, so you have to use AES, right? Key store, this is the name of the key store. You can pass the location also where to generate. Currently we have not given any location, so that's why it generated in the same folder. of the key tool where key tool was there, and then you can change the key size and the store type. As I shown you, it is of three types: JCEKS, PKECS, and JKS. Okay, and there are other tools also, right, to generate these secure keys. So, but it is already pre-installed in your system, so it is easy to use keytool.exe. Okay, so it is deploying.
So Yakub, meanwhile it is deploying, we have one question from Mukesh. What is the difference between
Hmm.
symmetric and asymmetric encryption?
Yes, so as I've told you, right, in C, when you use asymmetric, we have to have two different keys, one for encryption and one for decryption. When you use symmetric key, then with the single key, you can decrypt and encrypt. So it is less secure and but easy to manage because you do not have to manage two different keys. But it is little less secure than the asymmetric one, where different keys are there for encryption and different key is there for decryption. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, it is deployed. So let us quickly go through. I think we have made it as KBE. Send it. See, your payload is now encrypted using the Java-based cryptography extension. Okay. In the logger, you will also see this is your hello world, which is encrypted. Okay, and you can encrypt JSON and XML anything, right? With only XML cryptography, there is a limitation to encrypt XML. But with Java-based and PGP, we can encrypt any kind of data types. Currently, we are encrypting application slash text. Okay, so let us quickly decrypt it. So we will be using the go to crypto module and JC decrypt. Okay, since we are using the same symmetric key configuration, so we'll be having the same configuration here also. So we can reuse it. If you are using the asymmetric key, then we have to configure this decrypt, and again we have to go to this one and change this symmetric key. Instead of this, we will be having asymmetric key info. Okay, since we are using the same key, so we can reuse the configuration. Okay, so and then we will pass the algorithm, which is AES, and key ID is demo. Okay, and then we will save it, and from favorites we will add our logger. And we'll say payload. Hot deployment. I think because of low memory on my laptop might be the reason. Okay, while it is deploying, let us see some other operations also. So we have this sign and validate, right? If you see JC also has sign and validate, PGP also has sign and validate, and XML also will have sign and validate. So in this demo, we are not you will be using this, but I'm just explaining you what is the use case. So sign when you use sign option, it gives you three options. Either it will create an envelope over your payload, right? So whatever payload you are sending, it will create an envelope. So you can have the options either to use envelope or to as a appender. So it will validate that you are the correct authentic person to send, and when the second party will receive your payload, it will use validate function to validate the signature is valid or not. So if you read the document, it say validate a PGP signature. Okay, the sign that you have did, it can be in three format, either detached or as an envelope. Okay, so when you sign it, so other person have to validate the signature. So these are the two connectors used in tandem. So the source system will sign it, and this target system will validate the PGP signature. Okay, it is deployed. Let us quickly check the key-based decryption. So when we send it, so it will print hello world again, and if we go to console and check, so this is your encryption, and then again this is your decryption. Okay, so we have used asymmetric based Java cryptography. Okay. Okay, so moving to the last one. Any question before we move to our last this XML encrypt decrypt? Any question, Abhishek?
No question in the chat. People, do you have any question? I don't think any question. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so quickly jumping to the last topic, the XML. So this is just a subset of JC encryption only. So there is one limitation that you have to use only XML bodies, right? Right now, from if you see from Postman, we were sending this raw text, right? Application or text slash plain, and both the PGP and JC you are able to encrypt and decrypt. So they can decrypt to encrypt any format, any data type. But when you use this XML encrypt, so it has a limitation that it will only accept the XML bodies. Okay. So let us quickly configure it. So here the same key store we can use. Okay. So because this is based on the JC module only, just a subset of JC. Okay, so we can use the JC cryptography module or the whole. So we can reuse this also. Okay, because we have already configured this in the same project, so we can reuse this. Okay, algorithm by default it will be AES CBC, and key ID we have to pass. Let us say demo JC, which have already passed in our key. Okay, rest we if needed we can change the encryption algorithm, canonization algorithm, digest algorithm. We keeping it as default only, not changing anything. And there is one more thing. If you see, there is element path. So let's say your XML contain some different child nested, and you want to you know just do not want to encrypt the whole XML at once. So you can pass the let's say student dot uh, names or other something like this. So you can instead of encrypting the whole XML, you just need one child tag or one tag to be encrypted, then you can use this element path. Okay, so right now let us remove this. We will add one listen favorite. path will be giving us XML. And let us add one logger, and we will print the payload. Okay, so this again. So let us deploy. Let us quickly see the XML base. Right. So as I said, right, this XML based is the subset of JC only, right? It has also the same features, right? It can be asymmetric key based and symmetric key based. So there is no PB password based and or key based. It is key based only, right? It is key based only, and it can be asymmetric and symmetric. So we are using the same configuration of this symmetric one, right? So the same this all thing will be passed to this XML because this is a subset of JC only. See, only the limitation is you have to use XML inputs for this XML based cryptography. Okay, it can be asymmetric and symmetric as well. No password based thing in XML, it is key based only. Okay, let us check whether it is deployed or not. Okay, so if you passed, let's say if you are not passing the XML format, what will happen? If you send it, so it will say it cannot create a signed document because the input that we have passed, it is not an XML format, right? So if you check the console, so it will say it cannot create a signed document, and the reason is because we have not passed the XML format. So let us pass the XML format. So we'll go to raw XML and we will say hello and world hello. Okay, and now we will send it. So if you see, it has generated one, the key is there hello, and the world is now, the value is now encrypted, right? If you see, there is no world in there, so that data is now ciphered using the XML based cryptography. Okay, so if you see, the key is there hello, the opening tag and the closing tag, and the whole world, that the value of this key is now encrypted. Okay, so similarly we can just go to crypto and go to XML decrypt. Okay, we will use the same because we are using the symmetric key, so we can reuse the same configuration again. Key ID is demo JC, which we have passed. Okay, and then we will add logger. Just save it, and we have to again redeploy our project. So let us quickly summarize, right? So whatever we have done. Okay. So crypto module has three connectors: PGP, XML, and JC. So PGP is pretty good privacy, and it is a key pair based encryption decryption. So where you will get the key pair either from the vendor or you have to self generate. And when you self generate, you have two options to use the command based tools like git bash, or you have some UI based tool like Cleopatra. So from this key pair, you will generate the public key and the private key. So dot should be dot GPG format. Okay, and you have to use the fingerprint and the passphrase, right? So we will go to connector and paste all these, and you are good to go. And then in JC, which is Java based cryptography, so we have two types: password based and key based. So for password based, we only need the passphrase and the algorithm. We do not need any key. And then for the key based, we have asymmetric and symmetric option. So when you use asymmetric, you have to use public key and private key both. And if you are using symmetric, then you have to use that single key, and that key will be generated using the key tool. So that's three different types of keys: JKS, JCKES, and PBKS. You use the key tool command to generate the key, and then you will use the encryption decryption. And then the last we have XML, which is a subset of JCE only. So the limitation is we have to use only XML files or XML inputs, and it is also asymmetric and symmetric, so like the JCE only. Okay, and then we have some other operations also, right, which I have shown you: sign and validate. So that adds an extra envelope to your message. So it can be in detached format or in as envelope format, this signature. And once you assign it to your payload, then the target system will validate this signature whether it is valid or not. Okay, so let us see. Yeah, it is deployed. So we will go to this and send it again. So you see the hello world, we have receiving the decrypted format. Now we go to the and check the console. You will see the cipher data as well as the decrypted data. And this is your cipher data, and there will be one more logger to print the hello world value.
I think you missed to put the payload in the logger.
Okay. I think we have to write payload.hello to print that, right? So it has print the streamed one. You have to print specific values. Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm done, Abhishek, with my demonstration. So is there any question that we have?
Yeah, we have two questions, one from Rahul and one from Vaishnavi. So Rahul is asking, will be there any performance issue when we are encrypting or decrypting huge payload?
See, when we have to deal with a huge payload, then PGP is preferred because it will PGP works on two factors, right? It will compress your payload also and then decrypt it, encrypt it. So There will be an effect when you use extra module in your project, but it enhance your security. So part and parcel of your you have to maintain this project on a high vcore. Then if you have to encrypt or decrypt a huge payload, so there will be a cost, but it gives you something out of it, right? It is not just it will increase the memory or utilization or anything, but it will give you the output also as a security enhancement in your project. So there is a cost, but you have to manage it using streaming or some other options, which is also available in the PGP encryption and decryption module. So streaming is also available. So not much effect, but yeah, it will be a cost whenever you involve something out of the box feature in your project.
Yeah, thanks for that, Yaku. One question from Vaishnavi: can we encrypt only few fields in XML payload using the XML encryption?
So few fields is not an option. You can go to some tags, right? In the element path, you can navigate to that specific child path. So you can have to, if you want to encrypt one or two field, then I will suggest to go with data weave hashing. So that allows you to encrypt one or two field only. But in XML, you can navigate to some child, and then you can encrypt that whole child. But if you want to encrypt only one or two field, then you go with a data weave crypto module.